Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
After the Ghost and Molly McGee ended, I didn't exactly start searching for a new favorite show. I was busy with the Haunted Mansion project, Operation Inhabitation, and of course, getting back into the swing of making YouTube videos. But that's not to say I haven't watched anything, because obviously I've been watching Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and I'm gonna finally be making videos about that show soon. And of course, there's also Bluey, which I'm also planning on making a video about in the not too distant future. But neither of those are shows I've been able to look forward to airing on a semi-weekly basis. However, recently, I did find a show that was able to help fill the McGee-sized hole in my heart. And it came as a bit of a surprise, because it's the Fairly OddParents. No, wait, not that one. The new one.
Don't miss Drake Bell as Timmy Turner and Victorious as Daniela Monet as Tootie.
Oh, God! He is so smooth!
In A Fairly Odd Movie, Grow Up Timmy Turner.
Go on, make a wish. I wish you had the atomic runs.
No, I meant the reboot.
Odd Parents, Fairly Odd Parents. It's what you lived when you were a kid with Fairly Odd Parents in real life.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The sequel/reboot series, The Fairly OddParents: A New Wish. But before we get any further, I just want to thank you all for 13,000 subscribers. We hit 12,000 just over a week ago, and the growth on the channel over the past month has been insane. Thank you all so much. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be referring to the original series as Fairly OddParents and the new series as A New Wish. Got it? Great. So, first I should probably go into my connection with the Fairly OddParents, which is to say, I don't have much of a connection with the Fairly OddParents. Obviously, I knew it existed. I was familiar with Timmy Turner, Cosmo, and Wanda, but like I've said previously, I never watched much of Nickelodeon outside of SpongeBob. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Nickelodeon shows at the time tended to be somewhat mean-spirited. Shows like Rugrats and the Fairly OddParents were kind of built around a kids versus the rest of the world mentality. Timmy is an average kid who no one understands. The whole world is against him. His parents don't care, his babysitter is psychotic, and his teacher hates children and also wants to prove that fairies exist. Timmy's fairy godparents are there to make his miserable life better. Cosmo and Wanda start off the series as being two halves of a whole idiot, but as the series continues, they morph into Cosmo just being completely unintelligent, and Wanda being the annoying nag and stickler for the rules. Much like Phineas and Ferb, the show tends to follow a pretty basic formula. There's pretty much always an inciting incident that caused Timmy to make some sort of wish, and deal with the unintended consequences of that wish, with Cosmo and Wanda's only limitations being Timmy's imagination, and whatever the rules say they can and can't do. If you're familiar with Fairly OddParents at all, you probably know that it suffered from some pretty horrendous seasonal rot, which they tried to solve mostly by adding new characters to keep things fresh. And it mostly didn't help make the show better, with additions like Poof, Sparky, and of course, Chloe. Chloe was honestly a good idea on paper. There's a fairy shortage and Timmy has to share his fairies with another kid who couldn't be more different from him. Chloe had the potential to really bring something fresh to the series, not just by giving Cosmo and Wanda a new kid to play off of, but also giving Timmy someone to butt heads with. The problem is that in order to do that, they made her perfect. Too perfect. Perfect and annoying. Like, I don't use this term lightly because it's a literary term that's become so misused, but Chloe is the most Mary Sue character to ever marry Sue. Good God, she's boring.
Chloe, just pick the day when you want the fairies. Super! I'll take Friday because there's no homework. Although sometimes I do extra credit. I don't know what I like better, making wishes or doing extra credit. Ooh, I just don't know!
And after the original series unceremoniously stopped production in 2018, it seemed like that was kind of it. That is, until 2021, when Nickelodeon announced a hybrid reboot called The Fairly OddParents Fairly Odder, and seriously, what were they thinking? What's wild is that Fairly Odder was airing right around the time A New Wish was being developed. Well, Either that or they canned Fairly Odder and greenlit A New Wish at the same time. Whatever the case, A New Wish premiered on May 17th, and I genuinely don't know how anyone could not like this. This show is absolutely delightful. The show centers around 10-year-old Hazel Wells as she moves from the suburbs to the city of Dimadelphia. She tries to put on a brave face and act like nothing's bothering her, but she misses her big brother Anthony, which is the main conflict of the first episode, and a continuing thread throughout the series. Hazel is such a great protagonist for this show. I think she's everything they tried to make Chloe be, but she's so much more interesting. Hazel's cute, spunky, and fun. She wants to help other people and has a strong sense of justice. She thinks of herself as a bit of an old soul, and she feels more comfortable around older kids and adults than she does around other kids her own age. She also loves rocks, french fries, and scary movies. I've actually seen some people criticize A New Wish, saying that Hazel's a weak protagonist compared to Timmy. Here's a challenge I gave to my subscribers over on my community posts. Describe Timmy Turner without mentioning Cosmo or Wanda. I'll wait. And in between answers, just repeating the theme song and explaining all of the abuse he faces on a regular basis, the only character traits anyone was able to name were that he's kind of a selfish brat, and he likes the Crimson Chin. We literally learn more about Hazel in the first 5 minutes of A New Wish. Not to say that Timmy's a bad protagonist, he's not. He's just an undeniably simple protagonist from a different time. He's literally an average kid. Right away, we see that Hazel's not in the same boat as Timmy. She has two parents who love her, and there's not an evil babysitter. There's the obnoxious rich kid in her class, Dev Dimmadome, and Principal Krentz, the school principal who immediately dislikes Hazel. But nothing in A New Wish is anywhere close to as mean-spirited as anything that happens in the original series. Some people have even gone as far as to say that Hazel doesn't deserve fairies because she's not being abused by pretty much everyone in her life like Timmy was. Alright, so first things first. Child abuse isn't funny! Sorry, not sorry. We don't need to see Homer strangling Bart, we don't need to lock Penny Proud out of the house for breaking curfew, and we don't need to see this sweet 10-year-old kid get abused constantly for her to deserve fairy godparents. This is a modern take on the series, and that means we're moving away from the kids versus adults mindset that was so common in the 90s and 2000s. And I think that's for the better. And besides, the original show already says that there's tons of reasons why a child could receive fairy godparents. And I'd like to share a theory. Let's review. Hazel is having a hard time dealing with change. She has trouble communicating exactly what she wants sometimes. She has a hard time relating to other kids and thinks she'd get along better with her teachers. Also, Cosmo and Wanda commonly hide on the fidget toys on her backpack. Hazel Wells is autistic, or at the very least shows autistic tendencies. My headcanon is that Marcus, the dorky parascience expert, is also autistic, and Angela, the successful therapist with a book deal, knows that Marcus is autistic, but, as happens all too often, hasn't even stopped to consider the possibility that Hazel is on the spectrum.
Yes, hello, baby. I see you and I value you.
And that's why Hazel needs Cosmo and Wanda, because she needs someone who can help make her voice be heard. Oh, and speaking of Cosmo and Wanda, they're the best they've been in a long time in this show. Like I said before, they were being portrayed as a complete idiot and a joyless nag of a wife, so it's nice to see the two of them being two halves of a full idiot again.
Would you like to come in?
Yeah, actually, we have to be invited in.
You're thinking of vampires. Is this a math problem? Because I'm pretty sure Mr. Guzman is teaching state capitals right now.
And he's just getting to Maryland.
Oh, Annapolis, our favorite.
They have such a fun dynamic with Hazel.
Oh, sorry about your big plan. You'll think of something else, Squirt.
There's always my tearjerker idea, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Cosmo, who cries watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Who doesn't?
Like I said, Hazel's parents love her, but they don't really understand her, and that's what Cosmo and Wanda are there for. And because Hazel's relationships are different, her problems are different, leading to plots you'd never see in the original show. Like the one where Hazel wishes to become friends with all of her teachers. Oh, and I should probably talk about the animation in this show. It looks amazing! Nickelodeon ordered the show in 3D, and that's likely because 3D animation has gotten to the point where it's less expensive to do than 2D animation. And when you translate a 2D show into 3D, it can be hit or miss. Thankfully, this show looks incredible. I love the way it's stylized and how they do a lot to mimic the way a show would look being done in 2D. It helps make it feel like it's a part of the same world, even if it still looks totally different. So yeah, I think The Fairly OddParents: A New Wish is exactly what the franchise needed. It's such a massive breath of fresh air and a shining example of how to do a reboot or revival right. There's plenty of references and nods to the original series, but enough new stuff that it can still feel like its own thing that can stand on its own, where new fans can jump right in without needing any knowledge of the original series. So how can you support the show? Well, the show is picked up for Netflix, but then for some reason, they decided it would air on cable first on Nickelodeon. It's been getting some good buzz, which is great, but that's not going to do anything to help get the show renewed. The whole animation industry is in such a rough place right now, and these shows need all the support they can get. For now, the best thing you can do is buy the show on Amazon like I did. Telling people about the show helps too, and I'll be sure to do more videos on it closer to when it drops on Netflix. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed my review of Fairly OddParents: A New Wish. This video is one I kind of had to crank out at the last minute, and I'm trying to get back into a groove with the releases, but this last week was just crazy busy, and I'm a little burnt out. You know how it is. Thanks for watching, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.